Our next guest says, simply put, she's lucky to be alive with no severe permanent damage. One day she's healthy, and the next, she's in the hospital struggling to breathe.
And not just her, but her husband as well, both diagnosed with COVID pneumonia. Today, Pam Price is here with us in Historic Studio D to share her story. You probably recognize Pam as broker and owner of Pam Price and Associates, Realtors, ReMax Coast and Country. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
You're welcome.
So, this wasn't that long ago. This happened earlier this year?
January 10th, to be exact, was when I was diagnosed.
What happened?
Well, my assistant had recently been diagnosed with breast cancer, and I had been out of the office for 5 days, and I wanted to just make sure that, I was clear when going back to work. We had, been through New Year's and all of that, and so when I went back, I wanted to make sure I had a negative test just because I was telling everyone else to do it, and so I went, and I wasn't even sick. I just had like this slightest runny nose, and it was a typical, what I thought was the start of a sinus infection that I have every year, and I would go to the med center and get my steroids and antibiotics and be on my way. And I literally was shocked when I was positive for COVID because I didn't feel bad. There was nothing at all that I could have told you that, yeah, I thought I had it.
Yeah.
I want to read something you posted on Facebook. I thought long and hard about posting a video of how I fought to take a simple breath, but didn't want my family to have to see something so horrible. What in the world happened?
So my kids and my husband had both tested negative 2 different times. So in my mind, I thought I could go to our house in South Carolina and weather out the storm because I really wasn't that sick. I had a fever every day for 12 days, but I never felt like I couldn't drive down there and just lay on the couch down there. I totally felt that I would be fine. And when I got ready to leave that day, my husband said, "You look gray, and I don't feel comfortable with you driving that far, and I feel like we've been in the same house, that I probably do have it, and I'm just gonna go with you." So we left and we drove down there, but once we got down there, he got really sick. Every day got worse, and so worse that we didn't feel like driving back, but we had the dog, so it was non-stop, like, texting my good friend who is a PA, and she's like, "Pam, I'm worried about you, but now I'm really worried about him."
Because you both took a sudden turn for the worse.
Horribly fast. It was horribly fast. And our pulse ox was 61 and 77.
Oh my goodness.
And a normal's like what, 90 something?
Well, they
96,
want you to be at 100, like 97 to 100 is like good. So when you're that low, you literally, like, our dog even knew that we were so sick we couldn't take her out, and she was just laying there with us, and we couldn't take a breath to get her outside. That's how bad it was.
And then your daughters got sick?
Yeah, so we got down there 8 hours away, and then Sydney, the youngest one, she was 15 at the time, and she told me that she could not smell, and so we kind of knew. We finally got ourselves back to the hospital here because my husband wouldn't go anywhere but here, and it suddenly was just spiraling downhill super fast. But
So I have a personal question, and if you tell me it's none of my business, I certainly understand. Were you vaccinated?
we were not, because, and I'm still not sure we would have been, but we did not qualify at that time. It was early January, and we were not qualified for it.
Gotcha.
We didn't have the underlying issues and all that they were asking for, or the age, but I can say that we gladly went and got it as soon as we were able.
We know that you probably took a lot away from this experience, but two things that we want to touch on: the healthcare staff that took care of you at Tidal Health.
Yes. So we were both in there at the same time. We were both side by side, and we were able to, they would update us back and forth as far as what was going on with one to the other. But then I was transferred to the cardiac floor because it attacked my heart and my liver.
Wow.
And so I moved up there, and he went to the ICU step down unit because he was on 100% oxygen and really wasn't making headway. It truly was, to me, it was a great experience. I wasn't in there as long as my husband was, but everyone was so kind.
So you said too, what was your...
The other one was the compassion in the community.
Yeah. People you don't even know checking on you and wanting to make sure that you don't need anything.
Right.
But it's so hard to know your kids are home sick and you don't have any control over it because you're in the hospital. They're sick. They're home alone. No one can really take care of a child with COVID because you don't want them to be exposed to it. So, they would come and look at them through the door and stand on the porch, let them stand on the porch, and they'd stand in the yard. But literally, we had to have an extra trash dump from all of the food and like containers and everything. That's how much stuff that was dropped on our porch every day.
What a great problem to have.
Yes.
All right, we're out of time, but I'm not letting you go anywhere until you tell us what the main thing is you want to convey by telling your story.
Well, we would just love to let everyone know if you want to get vaccinated, do it. If you don't. But be kind and understand that a runny nose could very well be COVID, and it absolutely could save a life for you to stay home and not spread it.
Good words of advice. Pam Price, thank you so much. We're so glad you pulled through this, you and your family.
Me too.
You're so valuable to our community.
Thank you. Thank you.